Swimming tongues, the $3 bait that science says shouldn't work. There's a channel catfish bank fishing bait recipe floating around the fishing world that sounds like something a kid would invent. Hot dogs, cherry Kool-Aid, garlic powder, $3 worth of groceries mashed together in a zip seal bag. I know, I hear it every time I mention this bait. People laugh, then they watch me pull in channel cats while their $20 stink bait, your Sonnies, your team catfish, your CJs, sits untouched on the bottom. This isn't a gimmick. Outdoor Life called it the perfect mix of salty, sweet, and pungent. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission swears by it, and the reason it works, the actual biological reason, is stranger than the recipe itself. Let's go. Chapter 1. The fish that tastes with its skin. Channel catfish. Ictalurus punctatus. Here's a fact that changes how you think about catfishing forever. A 6-inch channel cat, barely bigger than your hand, has over 250,000 taste buds, not in its mouth, across its entire body. Researchers at the University of Louisiana documented at least 5,000 taste buds per square centimeter of catfish skin, their fins, their belly, their tail. Every square inch is reading the water like a page of information. Blue cats and flatheads? They push into the millions. This whole system, the way catfish detect and respond to chemical signals dissolved in the water, is called chemoreception, or more specifically, chemosensory detection. It's the same biological process that lets a shark find a single drop of blood from a mile away. In channel catfish, it's cranked to 11. So when you drop a bait into the water, the catfish isn't just smelling it with those whisker-like barbels. Those barbels, the 4 pairs of sensory appendages around the mouth and chin, are densely packed with both taste receptors and touch-sensitive nerve endings. They're essentially external tongues the fish drags along the bottom to read the chemical signature of everything it passes over. But the detection doesn't stop there. The catfish is tasting the water from a distance, with its whole body. Scientists have a name for this. They call channel cats swimming tongues. And once you understand that, the Kool-Aid hot dog bait stops sounding ridiculous and starts sounding inevitable. Chapter 2. The Chemistry of Attraction. Macro shots, Kool-Aid powder dissolving in water, swirling red clouds. Garlic cloves being crushed, fat rendering out of a hot dog in a pan. Every ingredient in this bait does a specific job. None of it is random. Let me break down the chemistry. The hot dog. You don't want the premium stuff. You want the cheapest, highest fat hot dogs on the shelf. Why? Fat is the carrier. Scent molecules dissolve into fat and ride it through the water column. When you microwave those chunks for 45 seconds before marinating, you're doing 2 things at once: evaporating water, which concentrates the remaining fat and salt, and tightening up the protein so the bait actually grips a hook instead of launching itself into low orbit on the cast. Hot dogs going into the microwave, coming out with a visibly different rubbery texture. Every angler who's ever yeeted a bait chunk into the stratosphere mid-cast skipped the microwave step. Don't skip the microwave step. The Kool-Aid. This is where it gets elegant. Kool-Aid is literally engineered to dissolve instantly in water and disperse flavor in every direction. That's the entire purpose of the product. Citric acid, artificial flavor compounds, and, critically, a shocking amount of sugar. The citric acid in particular creates a low pH plume in the water column, which acts as a dispersal medium for the flavor compounds. When that bright red cherry slurry hits the water, it doesn't just sit there. It broadcasts. Think of it as a scent flare. The catfish's chemosensory receptors pick up that signal, and the concentration gradient leads them straight to the source. The garlic. Garlic powder contains sulfur compounds, the same family of molecules that make rotting vegetation smell the way it does. To a channel cat rooting along the bottom, garlic reads as food breaking down. It's the olfactory equivalent of a dinner bell. And here's where the science gets really interesting. Channel catfish are also proven to respond strongly to L-amino acids, the same compounds that leach out of dying baitfish and decaying organic matter. The combination of garlic sulfur compounds and the amino acids naturally present in hot dog proteins essentially mimics the chemical signature of a food source that's already breaking down. The catfish doesn't have to guess. The water is telling it to come eat. 3 ingredients. Hot dog fat carries the scent. Kool-Aid broadcasts it. Garlic rings the dinner bell. Together they form a signal that catfish are biologically hardwired to follow. Big smell equals big fish. Chapter 3, the recipe. Here's the full recipe. Write this down. What you need: cheapest hot dogs on the shelf. Highest fat content wins. We are not making a gourmet meal here. 2 to 5 packets of Cherry Kool-Aid. Cherry is the proven workhorse. Grape, tropical punch, and strawberry all produce fish too. Powdered Jell-O works in a pinch. 2 to 6 tablespoons of garlic powder. Don't be delicate with this. More surface area means more scent dispersion. 1 gallon zip seal bag. Optional, about a cup of water if the hot dog juice alone isn't enough to activate the coating. Step 1. Cut the hot dogs into 1-inch chunks, not half-inch, not 2-inch. 1-inch. This is the sweet spot for a 3/0 or 4/0 circle hook. Step 2. Microwave at medium power for 45 seconds. You're looking for a slight shrinkage, a rubbery exterior, and beads of rendered fat on the surface. This locks the bait onto your hook and supercharges the scent before it ever touches water. Step 3. Dump the hot chunks into your gallon bag. Step 4. Add the Kool-Aid and garlic powder. Add that optional water if needed. You want a sticky, wet, bright red coating on every single chunk. No dry spots. Step 5. Seal the bag. Shake it like it owes you money. Step 6. Marinate. Overnight is ideal. The longer it sits, the deeper that cherry garlic flavor penetrates into the fat. But if you forgot to prep the night before, 30 minutes in the truck on the drive to the spot will still catch fish. I've done it. That's it. $3. A bag of bright red garlic-scented cherry-flavored catfish candy. Chapter 4, the rig. You've got the bait. Now let's talk about how to fish it without donating chunks to the lake. The hook. 3/0 or 4/0 circle hook for standard chunks. If you made a softer batch, maybe you added extra water and the hot dog started breaking down into a paste. Switch to a treble hook for more grip surface. The rig. Carolina rig. Sliding egg sinker above a barrel swivel. 18-inch leader, 20 to 30 pound monofilament for stretch that absorbs the hook set, or fluorocarbon. If you're fishing clear water and the cats are spooky. The Carolina rig keeps your bait pinned to the bottom. Channel cats feed downward, hugging structure. Your bait needs to be in their strike zone, not floating 6 inches above it. Level up option, the Santee Cooper rig. Same setup, but add a small foam peg float on the leader just above the hook. This lifts the bait 2 to 3 inches off the bottom, right at nose height for a cruising channel cat. Deadly in stained water. Baiting the hook. Thread the circle hook shallow through one end of the chunk. Rotate the hook. Push the barb straight up into the middle. The bait should be locked, not dangling, not loose. You should be able to shake the rig and have the chunk stay put. The cast. Do not cannonball this. Do not try to reach the other side of the lake. Smooth, easy lob. Let the weight of the sinker carry it. Hot dogs are not aerodynamic. Respect the physics. And one more thing. This bait absolutely destroys on limb lines, trot lines, and yo-yos. Passive rigs where you're soaking bait in multiple spots for hours at a time. The scent dispersion works overtime while you sleep. Chapter 5, the proof. Channel catfish are the most targeted catfish in America. According to RBFF data, we're talking 8 million anglers, 47 states, and they all have one thing in common. They want a bait that works. I've tested this against cut bait, against shad, against chicken liver, against store-bought dip baits and stink baits, Team Catfish, Sonny's, the whole shelf. That cost 4 times as much. The Kool-Aid hot dog bait has outfished all of them on more nights than it probably should. Here's when and where to use it. This bait was built for warm water night fishing. Summer catfishing specifically, channel cats feed hardest from sundown until midnight. Peak action runs May through September across most of the country. The water temperature sweet spot is 50 to 94 degrees. Channels hug the bottom and find food by touch and smell, exactly what this bait exploits. It sits down there broadcasting that sweet garlic cherry signal through chemoreception, and the catfish locks on from ridiculous distances. Important note, this bait is for channel catfish. If you're targeting trophy blues, switch to skipjack herring or gizzard shad. Here's why. Big blue catfish are primarily piscivores. They key on oily, high-protein baitfish like skipjack and gizzard shad, because that forage triggers a completely different chemosensory response than the amino acid and sulfur profile of this recipe. Same fish family, different biological triggers. But for channels on a warm summer night from the bank, this bait is as close to a sure thing as fishing gets. Chapter 6, the takeaway. Here's what I want you to take from this. You don't need a boat. You don't need a $200 tackle box. You don't need to overthink it. 3 ingredients from your kitchen: a basic Carolina rig, a warm night, and a quiet bank. The catfish is a swimming tongue, a creature designed to find food through chemoreception, through taste and smell wired into every inch of its skin, its barbels, its entire body. This bait speaks directly to that biology. It doesn't fight nature. It works with it. Make a batch, let it marinate overnight, get to the water by sundown. And when you feel that first thump on the line, you'll know exactly why this bait works. Because the science says it should. Big smell equals big fish. Now I want to hear from you. Have you tried this bait? What's your go-to homemade catfish recipe? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And I'm always looking for the next thing to test. If this video helped you catch more fish, hit that like button and subscribe to become a master. Save this before your next night trip so you've got the recipe when you need it. And follow for more bank fishing hacks that put fish on the line. Fish on.